Mr. Chairman, it's been some time since we spoke to you, and I think the last time we spoke to you, you promised to give us regular updates.
Yeah. I did. And normally I come in and you or someone else asks me a load of questions and I just answer them. And this time I've written a huge list of things I want to talk about because, yes, I promised regular updates. Yes, we haven't done them. But that's simply because we've been doing so much else, which might sound dramatic in a football club that's been closed. But let me get through some bits and pieces, right? Ownership change came late. I've referenced before, normally you offer player deals in January, etc., right? The ownership change came April, May. It left so little time to get organised, get ready and make change. So what have we been doing? Well, firstly, thanks to Melissa and Phil Weller, sorry, Melissa's surname's gone from my mind and I feel guilty about that. But Melissa and Phil did our application years ago for funding for the floodlights. And when I say thanks to them, Phil Weller literally sat out for 3 evenings monitoring the bat population with the local ecology officer so that we could get the planning application done. On top of that, we applied for funding and we would have had a Football Foundation grant to achieve it. And we never got to the point of providing the extra funding for the extra piece and getting organised to get it done. The new owners took over, pointed out the fact that the planning permission ran until, I think, October, November of this year and said, well, this needs to happen now or we run the risk that it doesn't happen. And when I say they run the risk that it doesn't happen, those that know what's happening just up the road will have heard reports, will have heard development plans and will have heard talks about ecology and bats again. So there is a chance we may not have got it in the future. So understand what we're working with. The new ownership team have talked about sustainability constantly. And the first thing they said to us was go out and spend an absolute fortune on getting these floodlights done because they guarantee the longevity of the club, right? They are something that will not be taken away from us once it's up, and that's the messaging that I've had on everything. There's then a period where you need to give them the time to understand what's been going on, right? A lot of money's been invested in a lot of things over recent times, whether that was on the pitch or off the pitch or whatever, but they wanted to get to grips with what we've been doing and why we've been doing it or how we've been doing it. On top of that, there's a load of other stuff that needed to happen. So pitch renovations went underway instantly, right? We've been doing pitch renovations for a number of years. Anyone that's been coming for a long time will have seen that the quality of our playing pitch has got better and better and better. And if we're going to have someone like Alan as a manager who wants to play passing football, you've got to have a glorious surface. It's quite hard to have a glorious surface when you're digging the surface up to stick wiring in to do your floodlights. So we've got to balance those guys against each other. I reference that because at the same time as us starting thinking about and getting underway with all of that, the owners also told us we want a decent kit for next year. Well, if you want a bespoke kit, you normally order it in January. And we discovered that we're going to do it in April, maybe May, maybe June by the time we got the sign off. If you want to do it and you want to have decent sponsors on it, you need to have told them weeks and weeks and weeks in advance to be able to order stuff and organise stuff. Did we have the time to do it? No. Have we got it done? Yes, 100%. I've praised Melissa and Phil. I'm going to praise Mark George. And if anyone sees him around the club, go praise him, because without this guy, the club would have fallen apart this summer. He's been unbelievable. But while he's been doing all of the pitch renovations, all the work around here, making everything happen, he's also gone out and got a new array of kit sorted, which we will announce later this week. We have a beautiful first team shirt and we have, home shirt, and we have a beautiful away shirt. People will have seen us playing pre-season friendlies in a third kit, as it's been branded. I'll speak really honestly with you. The third kit is the academy kit. Why do the academy kit have a different kit to the first team? The academy aren't allowed to play in the colour of the away kit for the first team kit. So for those football enthusiasts around here who know the rules and know the change in the rules, you'll now know the colour of this year's away kit, which we will announce later this week. Do we have sponsors in place? Yes. I've already mentioned the new owners. Unbelievable credit goes to them for what they've done in the closed season. We have a front of shirt sponsored title, which is the biggest front of shirt sponsored deal we've ever had in the club's history. I say the club's history. I've been here for, this is my 9th season. I don't know of anything that's even come close to what we've agreed here. We have a back of shirt sponsor, Watcar, part of Haymarket Media Group, which is the equivalent of a normal front of shirt sponsor. And having seen those guys bring in the money that they've brought in, I got tucked up for the sleeve sponsorship, which, without trying to overblow stuff, is the same money that we used to charge for a front of shirt sponsor. So in terms of growth, development, change, etc., we couldn't be in a better place. Are we going to announce the kit soon? Yes. Why have we not done it so far? It takes forever to get here. So we would have loved to have got it. We would love to have had it in place, and we'd love to have been wearing it for all our player announcements, but we simply didn't have the ability, nor the supplier have the time to actually get it done and get it processed across. Who's the kit going to be with? It's Araya, same as the National League benchwear deal, so effectively our sub stuff and our actual playing stuff will all be linked together. As part of having a decent kit, you need to have a decent badge. We wouldn't change a badge without having fan consultation. That's something we're clear on now. But last year's badge was missing one little bit, shall we say, probably missing a little piece. So the badge is the same this year, but with the correct team name, I guess, across the middle. I reference that because while we're trying to sort out all of that, we're then looking at doing other bits and pieces, and we needed to sort the electrics around the ground because we had to get the floodlights. Now, people might question that, saying we spent a load of money on electrics around the ground before, and we did, but we still had 1960s main hub that it was coming into, and we needed to take that out, and to replace that, you've got to shut everything down, and while you're shutting things down, you can't do other stuff. So everything kind of opens a can of worms, which makes things impossible to get done. I say that because I said last time the trust are back, and the trust will be back, and you will see the trust in the ground, and we had to have discussions for them where they're going to go, because if we'd have put them back exactly where they went last time, we can't get vans and trucks in and out of the ground, which means no dough shack, which means no burger van, which means other bits and pieces. So everything's a work in progress, and everything is hard, and everything has a new complication, but you will see the trust back in the ground this year, and we're excited that that's happening. We needed the floor replaced in one of the external bars, which was collapsing, and that's been done. It's now a concrete floor, a concrete cement floor, so we shouldn't have problems over that. One of the biggest differentials that you'll all see when you come into the ground, and something that the owners were adamant had to happen, is a large digital scoreboard. And I'm super excited that we've got that, because it's something we've never been able to consider, afford, engage with previously, and that should be in place for the first game of the season. I say should because the reality is every time we think anything is done, we find a new complication that makes it harder and means it's not done. So we've changed the electrics, we've changed the wiring, we've changed all these other bits and pieces. We've had the pitch up, we've had the pitch down, we've had the pitch renovated, we've had the pitch changed. We've had new irrigation put into the pitch, so actually we can water the pitch in a better way, more efficient way, more timely way. We've got more control over it, but anything we've put up means we've had to take something down. So we put the floodlights up, but to get the floodlights up, we took the old floodlights down. The old floodlights that came down were attached to the PA system, so now we've got to put the PA system back up. So I hope that people can see, and I appreciate you've only asked me one question, I'm just rambling. I wrote a huge list of notes because there's so much going on behind the scenes. I note that because, call for help actually out there. One of the things I'd like to get done, and referencing back to what I've referenced before, anyone know who owns hrbfc.com? And if they do, can you please put me in touch with them, because we would love to be www.hrbfc.com. If that's not plausible, we'll become co.uk, because we've located and we're in a position to do it. And for some people that might mean nothing at all, but for those that have been around for years and love the club, we get to be what we've always been, and we get to go back to being what we've always been. Again, it's a huge step forward. Again, locating this stuff just takes time. Do we have bucket loads of staff? Do we have bucket loads of people around? No, not at all. Call to arms, right? I said before, call to arms, and a load of people, and thank you to everyone that did email me to volunteer. We had no one to coordinate the volunteers. We had no one to be able to do so. So another thanks to Alistair Bruce, who's been coming in and volunteering. Genuinely, this guy doesn't get anywhere near enough credit from this football club, and that needs to change, because he has been in on a regular basis, and he's going to coordinate people coming in. So if you want to come in, if you want to paint, you want to tidy, you want to garden, you want to do anything at all that will help, we are ready for you. Please reach out. Alistair is on hand with a huge list of jobs that need to get done, ideally before the first friendly of the season, but reality, we'll take pride from the first game of the season onwards. I say we'll take pride from the first game of the season onwards because one of the other digs that people have had at us recently is the lack of social media presence. Well, again, another thank you. Seb White has a full-time job elsewhere and has been helping us with the player announcements, so thank you so much. Seb was involved before. He was fantastic when he was a director of club, but he's got life and he's got a full-time job, and it's impossible for him to be able to do everything that he would like to do. So huge thanks for what he has done for us so far. Do we plan to tweet all of the games? Do we plan to do these other bits? We haven't got anyone to do it, right? So fundamentally, no, that's not the plan at all. Are we searching for someone to step up? If people want to volunteer, there's 10 times more important things for you to come and help with at the moment to get ready for the season than tweeting out the lineups for a pre-season friendly where we're trying to work out what our playing squad is. But ultimately, I get that people are frustrated with that. So I wanted to note it because I wanted to give the thanks to the people that make a difference. Thank you to Richard Parsons, who's come back as the secretary. Thank you to the people I'm going to get grief for not having mentioned. Steve that runs the academy, Tom, our head of scouting, Alan and his squad of people that have been putting together a playing staff. I'll come back to that again in a minute, but thank you again to James Glassop, who's come back as the kit man. It's like unbelievable for me to see his return. Wonderful man, wonderful heart, loves Hampton and Richmond. Borough Football Club, and is back and is a Beaver again, which to me honestly means more than a lot of stuff does. So there's been bucket loads going on behind the scenes. What else would we have done differently? Could we have done differently? If I'd have done updates, I'd have had to give football updates more than anything, and they're quite hard to give, is the honest truth, right? For those that genuinely follow this league, you'll have seen an announcement last weekend of a huge signing of intent from one of the huge pro football clubs in this league. And to put last season into context, they're signing an individual for nigh on the same money as we signed a playing squad for last year, right? And that's how the world's changed. So I want to be clear with people, like, we're well funded, we are looked after, and we've got an ownership team who want us to be successful, want us to drive forwards. But when we sat down in the close season and said, what do we want to spend on? Floodlights, pitch irrigation, digital scoreboard, improving everything in and around here was the focus. So do we have a good playing budget? It is much better than last season, and it's a huge step forward on last season. Can it compete with the 12 or 13 professional football teams in this league? Well, some people are going to say no, because they're purely money focused. And I guess my response to that is, have Arsenal and Man City just had phenomenal seasons spending what they spend and not walking away with trophies or whatever? We've all got to be appreciative of what we are and where we're being and where we're trying to compete with. So next year, the league will be the hardest it's ever been. Maybe that's a bold statement, because again, I've only been around for 9 years, but certainly it's going to be the hardest for the last 9 years, because half the teams are now professional football clubs. What would we have done differently if we had given more updates? Huge thanks to Jake Gray. That's one of the first things I need to get across. Jake's been here for a while. He was our club captain. He's a wonderful human being, and I'm genuinely sad to see him leave the club. But I get it. Fundamentally, I hope people can see both sides of any discussions. Jake missed a lot of last season with injuries, and I don't deny I get endless stick every time we sign players from elsewhere that have missed part of the season with any injuries, as we're questioning as whether we can do it. We'd have loved for Jake to have stayed, but he's got a chance to earn more money at another football club and has taken it. And I don't want this to be seen as anything negative. He's like every other player there is. He's doing what's right for him, and as a football club, we've got to do right for us. He'll be sorely missed. He deserves endless praise. He's a wonderful human being. He's been our club captain, and genuinely, Jake, if you ever watch these, thank you so much for everything. We will really miss you, and I can't wait to see you when we play against you, although I hope you're out injured for both those games. Perhaps not with a bad injury. I hope that doesn't come across the wrong way. But the same to all of them, right? We had a whole playing squad last year, and it changed a lot, right? Alan's mandate was keep us in the division. And he chose to do it in the most over-the-top dramatic way possible, right? Give us huge expectations by being phenomenal at the start of the season, and then give us a bit of a frightening at the end of the season as things went differently. But please bear in mind the pressure that was on, the lack of opportunity funding, etc., that meant things were changing and changing at speed. So when people question where we're at now, are we happy with our playing squad? Of course we are. Like, of course we genuinely are, because we've had the freedom of choice to go after people. Would we have liked a few of them to have stayed? Yeah, we probably would have done. And did we engage in those discussions? Yes, of course we did. But if someone gets more elsewhere, or the opportunity of more elsewhere, or whatever, we have to make commercial decisions based on what's best for the club at the time. So we are over the moon with some of the players that we've signed. Alan Massey, a decade in the league above, most of his time as captain with a phenomenal football team. Huge signing for us. Rowan Ince, 2-3 seasons ago, was one of the best players in that league. Greg O'Cox, 2 seasons ago, I think, scored 15, 16 goals in the league above. These are class footballers that have played much higher standards than what they're going to be operating in with us. But what we've always been proud of at this level is going and finding those step 3, step 4, step 5 last year gems and bringing them through. Are we out there announcing our teams for pre-season? No, we've still got 8 or 9 or 10 trialists in with us. I say 8 or 9 or 10 because we're constantly changing our mind on where we're at with people, and we're constantly having a look at what's available to us. So are we happy on the football side? 100%. We have so much more competition for places than we had. We've got a better profile squad. Our testing is better than last season. Everything is in place for us to be better than last season. But ultimately, we're going to be competing with 12 professional football teams. And if the footballing gods wanted to do us a favour, they would not have given us the 10 games that we've got to start the season. Now, other clubs will say you play everyone twice, and you do. But fundamentally, We need to say thanks to everyone that was here last year. We are genuinely happy what's happening for this year, but we're over the moon with everything that's happened off the pitch, because we believe that when you return, hopefully for the Hamworth game in 2 weeks roughly, you'll walk into a place and go, wow, it's fantastic. It looks and feels like home and everything's improving. So I appreciate, I haven't done an update for a long time, and I appreciate that is probably the longest rant anyone has gone on in history, but they're the updates from Hampton and Richmond. Come on the Beavers.